There's something freeing yet tragic to admit that you regret your Dyson Airwrap.
Alexis Sunshine 83, it's always sunny here. Boop.
Hey Sunshiners, Alexis Sunshine 83 here. Now, I don't think getting influenced by something is necessarily always negative, although don't get me wrong, the insane amount of products we're constantly being pushed on social media is too much. The run, don't walk to buy X, Y, and Z, or buy all of these very specific products to be a clean girl. Like, yes, there is absolutely a negative with all of it that I have mentioned in previous videos, but also there is such a helpful aspect in product reviews and product recommendations from influencers when you're thinking about buying a product, but maybe you weren't sure if there is a shade match for you, or if your skin type will even work with it, or if you have something specific you're dealing with, like for myself, scalp dermatitis. Hearing how it worked for someone else and the pros and negatives can greatly help you make a more informed purchasing decision. However, all of that has been turned up to like 1000%, with some influencers lying in reviews, or there's just so many beauty launches now that it's difficult to know which one to buy when influencers are saying every single one is their favorite. And so it's inevitable that you may be influenced by something that you end up regretting. And so today, I am sharing all the products I was influenced to buy that I either regret or actually really love. And this video is inspired by my friend Carrie, and I just figured maybe it would be helpful for any of you that have felt tempted to buy any of these, just have another perspective before buying. I am so gutted to say the e.l.f. Glow Reviver Lip Oil Glimmer Finish Gloss is a big fail for me. Maybe I just got a bad one because e.l.f. lip products are always top tier, but this one for me is just unwearable. Like, the glitter particles are kind of chunky to where it feels very grainy, and so many people have said this particular shade, Super Neutral, was a dupe for the Fenty Beauty Fenty Glow shade gloss, which I absolutely love, but this it does not compare at all. Even the shade is very off. Like, it is on me for buying this specific shade, which I did because everyone said, again, it was like a dupe for Fenty Glow, but it just is really, really orange. And the Fenty Glow has an orange hue, yet doesn't hold as much orange pigment on the lips and looks really good on top of my mauve lip liners. But this e.l.f. one just looks so bad on me personally, and especially compared to the Fenty Glow color. I've thought about getting a different shade and just trying out another one to see if I had gotten unlucky, but I'd still rather buy something that I know I already like the feeling on my lips versus buying this in a different shade and potentially feeling the exact same way. But being a color I would wear, but I wouldn't wear it because of the way that it feels on my lips. Again, maybe I have a bad one. If you have tried this, let me know how it feels. I mentioned in my gift guide video that I had bought a new brush from a recommendation from B.I.G, which there are 3 influencers that I do trust fully with product recommendations, and that is B.I.G, Jamie Page, and Nicole Raffi. I don't go out and buy every single thing that they recommend, but if they do mention a product, I will look into it and see if it's something that would work for me. But anyway, Abby had made a whole video going through a bunch of different hairbrushes and almost doing a showdown of what she thinks is the best for your hair, depending on price and overall potential damage. And from that, I ended up buying this Drybar brush. Please disregard the hair that is in it. I did not clean it before filming this. Please don't judge. It just shows that I use it. Previously, I was using a fine hair specific wet brush, which I do still use my wet brush on my wet hair. The Drybar brush, I just really hate the feeling of the bristles on my wet hair, and I find that it does kind of pull specifically my wet hair, not my dry hair, but my wet hair. So I still use my wet brush for my wet hair and this for my dry hair, which was something I was looking for because I found that the wet brush was pulling too much hair on my dry hair, and I like needed something specifically for that because that's where I was having the most damage of my hair gets really, really tangly, like really easily, and so I needed something that would help me get the tangles out as delicate as possible. I've now had this hairbrush for 4 months and I can say it is worth it. Yes, it is worth it. Unfortunately, a bad brush can 100% contribute to more damage on your hair, and as somebody that hair again tangles really easily, it's fine and it's bleached, this brush is just so much more gentle than any brush that I have ever tried in my life and makes the brushing process just overall so much easier. In my thrift wish list video, I said I was putting myself on a shoe low buy. I think I said I can only buy red boots or brown booties, and you know, that was an idea. But not long after that, Dr. Martens announced their chunky buzz shoe, which like that is the 90s chunky shoe of my dreams. When I first saw them though, I was like, okay, Alexa, you don't need these, just wait. And then Dr. Martens did a big launch for Fashion Week in New York where they gifted a bunch of influencers the shoes. And then all of the PR unboxing of my mutuals were going up, and you know, they got me. They 100% got me with their whole strategy. It worked on me, but I did want to try them on before buying because the sizing was quite confusing, and also I wanted to walk around in the shoes before buying because they are more of a chunky sole, and I used to have the sandals with the same sole, and they are definitely significantly heavier than most of the Doc Marten. Maybe not the Jada Maxes. I feel like they're quite comparable, but I did end up saying goodbye to the sandals because I needed to wear socks with them because of how heavy they were, and just with the stitching inside, I was finding that they were rubbing up against my skin, and then with the weight, it just, for me, the sole doesn't work with a sandal. They have really cute sandals with the soles. They like just announced a new one as well, and it's so cute, but it does not work for me in a sandal. I have to be able to wear socks, and like, yes, socks and sandals, that's a look, but personally, that is not the look that I want. So a shoe, like an actual proper shoe where I could wear sandals with that sole was very tempting. When I decided I was probably going to buy the shoes, I called my closest Doc Martens store to see if they had my size in stock, and they only had one left in a size 9, and they couldn't put it on hold, and it was on a Sunday. It was 4:15. The store was closing at 5, and so I raced down, and they still had the size 9. I tried it on, and then I also tried on the size 8 because on the Doc Marten website it says for these shoes to size down 1 size, but the 8 was way too small, and then the 9 was perfect. It's definitely more of a wider shoe, so if you have wide feet, I actually think it would be perfect. I have like average width feet, and so I do wear quite thick socks every day. Like that's kind of my go-to sock. I probably, if I wore like a thinner sock, would put an insole in it just to make it fit a little bit better, but overall it fits so well. Not super tight, but not super loose. I am obsessed with them. I think I've had them for 3 weeks now, and I take every chance I can get to wear them. I've gone on like a 30-minute walk in that. I mean, I don't recommend doing that necessarily, but they were comfy enough to do that. I'm like trying to wear them again as much as I can, and they don't hurt. Like my Beck's Oxfords, now those are a little, they're a little tough. Obviously the material is a little bit more like soft, so it just fits a little bit more comfortably than the Beck's one, where it's gonna take a little bit longer for the Beck's Oxford to naturally kind of soften up, and that it's definitely just a lot more stiff, whereas this one is not. And I was really scared about the chunkiness of the sole, which is also why I wanted to try them on, because I have been scarred from falling in my Oxford quads. I ended up saying goodbye to them because anytime I wore them, I felt like I was gonna roll my ankle again. And I tried to kind of like move my ankle with these to see if it would be easy to fall in them. And because it is so thick and wide and heavy, it keeps you on the ground. Like I could not, I mean, I'm sure if I could probably fall in them, but not easily. It would take a lot for me to fall in them. Whereas the quads, it was really easy to fall. I would be at the thrift store and sometimes almost slightly roll my ankle, whereas these, they keep me on the ground. This is one that I am happy I was influenced to buy. I mean, I liked it initially already. It was just like that push, which could be a bad thing. I could have waited because online they were completely sold out. And so if at the store they didn't have them, I would have been okay. I could have waited, but they did have them. And I don't know. I felt like it was fate. It's just one of the coolest Doc Martens shoes that they have recently come out with. I love them. I think plumping lip glosses are one of the worst things. Like, why are we choosing pain to have slightly plumpier lips that only lasts an hour? I'll be honest, I have been tempted by lip filler. I am a bit insecure of my upper lip being small, which is silly. Literally, small lips, medium-sized lips, big lips are all beautiful, but lip filler is literally talked about in such a casual way as if you can just buy it at CVS when it is $600 or more depending on where you live. And I am team do whatever you want with your body, just don't shame others if they don't do the same, and that's vice versa. Don't shame people that do it, and also don't shame people that don't do it. But anyway, this plumping lip gloss, this Polite Society Big Mouth Lip Plumping Gloss, has been deemed the best lip plumping gloss. I saw videos of people saying it made them stop getting lip filler and just using this instead. And I will say it did make my lips look plumpier, but at what cost? This feels like pepper being viciously rubbed into your lips. Okay, that is a bit dramatic. It's not the worst thing in the entire world, but it's extremely uncomfortable and just irritating. I only used it 5 times, and after the 5th time, I was like, this just isn't worth it. Once it deflates, the line that you made with your lip liner just looks odd. And I have the color Repulpante gloss, and they have other colors that can be worn as normal gloss, so you can reapply if like it isn't plumpy anymore. And I just cannot think of anything worse than applying this when I am out and about. Like, absolutely not. I've also tried the Too Faced plumping lip glosses, and just literally all of them, I am saying no to buying any of them ever again. I'd rather have small lips than irritated lips. I know people are ride or die for Rhode Skincare, and I absolutely love that for you, but it just did not work on my skin, which I'm just so annoyed that I didn't just try one product from them to make sure I actually liked it, versus I think it was like $80 on this hydration set that I am never going to use ever again. I have very dry, sensitive skin, and I've heard people raving in the dry skin community about how amazing Rhode is, and I think their aesthetic and everything that they do is so smart, so much respect, so much love, but this system just felt bad on my skin, and it did end up burning. I would change out the like days I would use each one. At first I was trying all of them at the same time, and it was burning and it just did not feel good. And so I was like, okay, let me switch it where like one day I use one of them, the next day I use another one, the next day I use the third one, even though you're supposed to use them all together. And that I still didn't like any of the products. I would just rather not use them. And then I tried to wait longer periods between when I would apply each one, because maybe like the stinging sensation was because I was applying it too fast, and it still burned. Not terrible, not a reaction. I don't want to say that there was like a reaction or anything like that, but it was uncomfortable. I had wished I didn't put it on my face, and this is 100% gonna be me. Truly, I think this works for so many people, and I'm so happy, and I'm not trying to like scare anyone necessarily, just to give another opinion from a sensitive, dry skin girl. I was specifically looking for something to replace my First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream because they added eucalyptus to it. It's on the like very last like ingredient, but still, if you have sensitive skin, adding eucalyptus to your face just like isn't the best thing. So now I just use it for like problem areas on my body, not my face. And I have been using that I honestly, since 2015, so I had been at a loss and I was open to trying anything because I hate buying beauty products. I know it seems like I don't, but I absolutely hate buying beauty products because you can't return them if it doesn't work out or you don't like it. I mean, you can in some cases, but it's just gonna go into the trash. The brand can't do anything with it. It's wasted product, it's wasted components, materials that went into it. The resources it took to make that product is all a waste. And so it didn't work for you, which is I really try to like do research and like verify that I have like the best chance of liking it. In this case, buying 3 from a brand I've never tried before based on the recommendation of other people saying how good it was. And I was like, oh, like it's such better value. Let me de-influence you from any of these like value, like, oh, get all 3 for a cheaper price when I could have just gotten one thing that would be less money than this just to try it. Unless you already like the products, don't buy these like sets until you know you actually like it, because in this case, I lost money doing that. Something that I was influenced to buy that I actually really love is this Oribe Serene Scalp Balancing Conditioner. Like I said, I have scalp dermatitis and I have been on a journey for the past 6 years trying to find some sort of relief, because there have been moments where I literally wanted to shave my head because of how irritated and itchy my scalp felt. I have tried everything and anything. I even did a whole month with my dermatologist of using like prescription scalp oil, prescription shampoo, and like I was on a special system of like different shampoos to try every single week or to use every single week for a full month to help it. And I will say it helped by like week 3 slightly, but then it just went back to how it was before. And it's tough because it's dry and flaky. Like I almost have like scabs in some places on my scalp, but then also it can feel oily after getting out of the shower as if I didn't even wash my hair. So there's this balance I have been trying to find with the products I'm implementing. And I was getting to a place where it was feeling slightly better, even like after the whole thing with my dermatologist of it kind of going back, and then I was kind of trying out a couple things and I felt like I finally got it to where it was almost there. And then I watched a video from Lauren Louise where she was showing her hair care routine, and she mentioned that she had really, really bad dandruff and talked about how this Oribe conditioner and shampoo, she used the shampoo and conditioner. My shampoo, I felt like is like the K18 one, is great. I felt like it was doing its job, but I felt once I was getting to a conditioner, it was not doing anything and then continuing the problem when I would get out of the shower. And so I needed something in the last stage of like the conditioner, and this was pricey. I've never tried anything from Oribe before, but at this point I was desperate. I was like, you know what, like I've tried everything, let me just see how it works. And this was the missing piece. I don't want to say this is the sole reason my scalp has felt better. It's just more, like I said, was the missing piece. Like everything I was doing, I was getting close. Adding this into it, it was just like, oh, my hair care routine now is just, it's amazing. I cannot tell you what a big difference it makes to not be constantly having this like itchiness feeling on your scalp. And again, I do still have dandruff and some issues with my scalp, but this has made it more manageable, and I have things for flare-ups that I can use to help then maintain. It's like the whole system, once having this, works perfect. It like all, well, perfect in that like it's never gonna go away fully, but as perfect as it can. And like I would say 90%, which honestly, like as somebody that has been dealing with this for a very long time, 90% is basically perfection. Oh, I do also only use this on my scalp. So even though it is very pricey, I only use it on my scalp, and then I use a different conditioner on my ends. So I don't go through it as much as I would if I was using it on my ends. I just do it on the scalp, and I cannot wash my hair without this. This is a need and a staple, and I really hope it works for my entire life. I'm actually so sad to say the Tower 28 Makewaves mascara has turned into a fail for me. I mentioned in my everyday makeup routine / Q&A video I did in December that this was my favorite mascara after I only had it for 2 weeks, but it had just been like the most amazing mascara that I was like, this is my favorite mascara ever, and recommended it. And I do not know what happened. By week 3 and especially week 4, it just turned on me. It became clumpy, dry, and just an absolute mess. It could be based on the materials that it just goes bad more quickly, but it now just applies so terribly. Like the chunks then go on my eyelashes, and then I'm trying to get rid of the chunks, but there's chunks on the wand from the mascara, and it's like a bunch of it too. It's not like, oh, like here and there slight chunk. No, it's like all chunkiness, and then I'm like trying to get it off, and then it ends up adding too much product because then it's chunky, and it just does the exact opposite of what I wanted from this mascara, which was more of a natural look, and I can't use it. These peel off lip liner stains not working for me is purely from color preference. These went quite viral a couple of months ago because who doesn't want a lip liner that stays all day? And I will say these are very long lasting. And once Billie Eilish included it in a stage makeup routine, these just took off even more, which it looked amazing on her, but on me, the mauve color is too dark. I want an everyday lip that looks natural yet still makeup, and I don't want it to be too dark, but it also can't be too light. The mauve, like I said, was too dark on me, but then the nude was too light and a little bit too brown. They both had slight like brown hues, which on most people looks amazing. Just the tones didn't really go with my natural lip color and then my undertones and what I was wanting, which I'm also very picky and very specific. So it's me, it's my fault. And I really tried to see what these colors look like on so many different skin tones and again, lip colors. And it just, I really don't like it on myself, which if I was wanting a dark lip, then yes, this would be amazing. The mauve color for like a night out or a concert, but also realistically, I don't do that very often. And if I do those things, I want my like lip like this. I don't want a lip that's darker. And the thing is it's not even like that much darker, but it's darker than this slightly enough that I don't like it. And I just like want to scrub it off of my lips. Ever since I started curling my hair like this, I have received so many kind comments, which thank you so much. And also comments saying how I do it, what I use, is it natural? And today I am here to spill my secret. It's not really a secret though. I'm not really spilling a secret because I did actually post about it on Instagram and it's not even original to me. I had watched a TikTok from Caroline Tucker that I think she made last year. It just randomly came up when I had TikTok of her using a 3/4 barrel to curl her hair. And I love the look on her. So if you want to actually properly see a tutorial, I will leave her TikTok in the description because I just literally do the same thing. She does use the bedhead 3/4 curling iron, whereas I did end up getting the BaBylissPRO 3/4 curly wand because the bedhead one doesn't have different temperatures. It's just on 430 degrees, which for fine bleached hair is just way too damaging. Whereas this one, I just put it on 320 degrees and I have never loved my hair more. This is day 2. Yesterday, it did look even better. Actually, I'm refilming this video after filming that video for 5 hours and it just like being a terrible hot mess. So it looked even better yesterday, but even on day 2, like basically what I want is a like frazzled, frizzy in a good way, curly, like tighter curl. I do brush it out a lot because I want it to be a little bit frizzier. I just don't want it to be like super tight curls. I want it to have some volume. Thank you so much, Caroline, for posting that video because this is one of my favorite purchases of 2025 and my favorite hair. The Lysol fabric disinfectant isn't the exact item that was shown in the TikTok because I couldn't find the one that they were using, but the idea of a disinfecting spray was influenced by another thrifter for leather and suede pieces that you maybe can't dry clean or don't want to dry clean. And after watching their TikTok, I was like, oh my goodness, I do actually really need this because of the leather pieces or suede pieces that I thrift, especially suede. You can do as much like wiping on it, but there's something about suede. I mean, it smells like suede. It does smell like suede. So not only in the like, you know, helping with like bacteria and all that jazz, but also the smell. This helped so much. It still smells like suede, but not as intense. I had thrifted this suede jacket from a flea market, and yeah, this was so helpful and needed. If you do use it, open up all your windows and put all your animals in a different room because it's strong. It is really, really strong, but for a good reason, because it really, really helps. I probably wouldn't use it on lighter colored fabrics just based on reviews that I saw that it can stain. So beware, that is your disclaimer, that it could possibly stain your pieces. It hasn't with mine, but I've only used it on leather and suede pieces, so maybe that is why. But I am so thankful for that TikToker for influencing me to get something like this, or to even know that this exists. People have raved about the Makeup Forever's nude colored lip liners for so long, but I just never felt compelled to try them because they seemed pretty similar in consistency to the other lip liners that I already owned. Although again, the lip liners I was using still felt slightly too dark, and I was on the hunt for something just a little bit lighter, but like not too light. Again, I'm just like being extremely picky, but it wasn't enough for me to try a completely other, or like buy a new lip liner, because I was like, well, this is fine, and what if that doesn't work, especially in the part of it being a same consistency and potentially not as long wearing. Like that was the key. I wanted something a little bit lighter, but also was more long wearing. And so when she said that these new extreme versions were more long wearing, I figured I'd give it a go. And it's basically more of a matte formula, not super matte to where it's super dry and tough to work with, but once it sets, like it does not move. The Whatever Walnut shade is seriously the perfect shade for me. I get the hype. I've been hearing the love for Whatever Walnut for like years, and now that I've tried it, I totally get it. I have heard though, the extreme versions of those shades are slightly different, so I don't know compared to the Whatever Walnut and the normal one if I would like it as much, but I love this one. It is more of a cool tone, so I wouldn't wear it on its own, but with my lip combo of the e.l.f. lip stain in Power Mauve and the e.l.f. lip gloss in the color Honey Talks, it just creates the perfect everyday lip for me. Also, I do not have to reapply the lip liner throughout the day, which is life-changing. It's basically what I wanted from the lip stain, but that just like wasn't the right color, whereas this is the right color and it stays. I can't drink out of a straw because I had esophagus surgery when I was 15, and so I have to like, you know, drink stuff normally in the cup. And so usually very normal that my upper lip liner will just disappear. But with this, I don't have to reapply the lip liner. I almost don't even take this out with me because I don't have to reapply it. I do sometimes have to reapply the stain and also the gloss, but like not having to reapply a lip liner, sometimes I find with reapplying lip liner, it almost just like cakes on, even though most of the lip liner is completely off. Adding more just kind of creates this like cakey mess. And so the fact that I don't even have to like reapply this and it's just the stain and the gloss sometimes that I have to reapply, that is so amazing. There's something freeing yet tragic to admit that you regret your Dyson Airwrap, and yeah, I unfortunately do. Kind of. Like I kind of regret it. I got this back in December 2022, right after my hair got annihilated by bleach, and it was super crispy and damaged, and I was desperate for any product that would help it. And at the time I was using quite a cheap hair dryer. Like it wasn't bad, but I'm sure it wasn't helping the health of my hair. So I decided to just bite the bullet and buy the $600 Dyson Airwrap based on the claims from all the beautiful haired people on social media promising it was going to give me luscious hair and save me from buying any more heat tools, because this can do all of that in one with less damage. You know, I was definitely sold a dream, and actually on my short hair, I didn't love it with the curling attachments, but for the brush doing like a blowout and kind of like a floppy little like flick at the bottom, it did help just make my hair look somewhat okay, even though it was really fried. I just felt I wasn't able to use it to its fullest potential with my short hair. So I was really excited for my hair to get longer to see if it was more worth it. And I think there's 4 big downfalls of it that are mainly personal, but could be helpful if you've thought about saving for it. The biggest downfall is it doesn't look as good if you don't have layers, especially now that my hair is long. It does not do anything. The little brush blowout attachment, it does not do anything. And we'll talk a little bit more, even more so about that. But if I had layers, like again, the luscious hair that you usually see on social media using the Dyson Airwrap, it's because the person has layers, and I just don't like layers on me because I'm scarred from chemical layers that I've had many times from bleach fails. And so I just don't like layers on me, and it's not able to give you that bounce and that luscious like flicks and just overall blowout if you don't have layers, which I have seen people without layers still use it and it still creates like a really pretty blowout, but they usually use mousse or like extra product to have that hold. And a lot of them have really pretty hair already. And my hair, it's not that it's not pretty, it's just very fine. And so it doesn't hold as, it's interesting because my hair does hold a style really easily, but with the Dyson, not as much. And I hate mousse. I hate mousse. I've tried now 5 different mousse that I have been recommended and influenced to try because people are like, this is why your Dyson Airwrap is not working. You need this mousse, or you need this product, or you need this. I have unfortunately bought all of those and it does nothing to my hair. And if anything, it just makes my hair feel like straw. Number 2, I cannot use rollers to save my life. And that's like a crucial thing to making the curls be more voluminous and even like a blowout to hold the style. You have to use curlers or use some sort of thing to like clip the curls. And I even with the clips, just the clips alone, my hair gets stuck in them. I think it's because of my hair being really tangly that like that is just a recipe for disaster. I have watched so many tutorials on how to put in and take out curlers without ripping your hair out, and it just got to a point where I was ripping out my hair so badly from using the rollers with the Dyson that I was probably reversing any type of anti-damage that the Dyson was doing. Number 3, I hate having wet hair with makeup on. This is so personal, I know, but again, just to give you like any information if you are like this, because this is probably one of the biggest reasons why I wouldn't have bought the Dyson. I'm just thinking about this, but I like to do my makeup first and then my hair. And even when I've tried rollers with the Dyson, like it's still in the way. It's still hard to do my makeup. My hair is still going into my makeup, so I do really have to do my hair first and then my makeup. But then all of that work that I put into using the Dyson, all of that is ruined. Like anything that I would have at least created is ruined by the time I finish my makeup, because I have to use a hairband to get the hair out of my face, and my hair, it's easily dented. And so I basically just ruined all of the work that I had done. But doing my makeup first and then having like wet or dry hair and like using the blow drying, like the air is hitting my face that's wet, like that is nails on a chalkboard. That is the most uncomfortable feeling in the entire world for me personally. Lastly, number 4, even when I'm able to do some sort of style with the Dyson barrel, whether it's the big one or the small one, I just don't like it. I just don't like it on me. And I think this goes back to the layer point, where I think with layers it looks so much better, but with no layers it just looks weird. I just don't like it. I've tried different ways and I just actually don't like the curls on me. Overall, maybe it did help my hair not get more damage, and I do use the drying normal hair attachment every single time I wash my hair. I use this hair drying attachment, but I don't use any of the other attachments. I use this every time. So like, I'm really just using it as a normal hair dryer. I do think it's like, again, not adding as much damage as my original hair dryer, but maybe I could have found another hair dryer that wasn't as expensive. I don't know how it compares to the dupes, but I think in general, a hair tool like that just doesn't work for me. So it doesn't even matter about the price. I mean, it doesn't matter about the price, but even if it was less expensive, like I think the Shark one is $300, I would still regret it. Alrighty, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below if you've tried any of these products and you had a different experience. One product can work drastically different on like 5 people. So sometimes you don't know until you try. But in creating the list of products that I've tried that I regret, I actually have learned quite a lot about myself and my preferences and things I can take with me for future purchases. So there's a slight positive that I'm trying to make, at least. I did delete TikTok back in January after it had gotten banned, and I did re-download it. 2 different, like I re-downloaded it and then I deleted it because I needed videos to download to include in videos, and then I realized I could just go to the website and like type in what I need and just screen record that. It doesn't look as nice as like downloading a TikTok from the app, but it does what it needs to do. And not having TikTok has been kind of freeing. Like, I don't know what's viral. I don't know what's popular. Sometimes I will go on TikTok.com and type in a specific product to see what it looks like on different skin tones and skin textures and kind of that information that's really helpful. But I'm not being pushed to buy things that I didn't already think about buying, and I'm not getting as many like, here is the product that you need to buy to solve this problem that you actually don't have, and I just made up the problem that you're having. It's been really nice. Again, I'm still being influenced by other creators from different platforms, and especially the ones that I mentioned that I do trust their recommendations, but it's just not as intense and as much influence as I was getting on TikTok. Anyway, yeah, if you would like to see my face again, then make sure to subscribe right down below and hit the little bell to be notified every time I make a new video. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, which is AlexSunshine83. I will see you all in my next video. Bye!